up, YouTube? It's your boy YouTube back at it again with another video for you. It's been a minute since I've made a video, man, because I just moved to Texas. I got my whole setup right here in this room now. Moved over from Jersey, so all of that transition took a while, and on top of that, I kind of hurt my hand and my shoulder right before that. It's a whole mess. It's a whole thing. But without any further ado, man, let's just jump right into this video. So let's just get into who my personal top 5 candidates for MVP will be this season, and not in any particular order, but I will start with number 1, James Harden. Now, before James Harden got injured last season, he was one of the leading candidates for MVP. And when I tell you, I don't even believe it was close. He was running away with it. He was running away with it because at that time, Kevin Durant was injured and Kyrie Irving was in and out of the lineup for personal reasons. Although he didn't miss too many games, a lot of people gave him a lot of slack for that. But James Harden was without a doubt the best player in the NBA through that stretch of time when he was playing without Kevin Durant. And just because they're going to be on a quote-unquote super team, I really don't think that they should be counted out either for the MVP candidacy, because man, when you're playing at such a high level, he was averaging he was top 10 in points per game. He was averaging the most assists per game in the NBA, and he was well above that mark. You know, the difference between first and second was drastic at the time when he was on that stretch when Kevin Durant was out, and it just wasn't even close in my opinion. And you know, barring that he comes back from injury with no setbacks and he's good to go for the start of the season, I really believe that no one's gonna stop him. The way he runs the Nets offense, he is probably one of the best point guards we've ever seen, with the playmaking ability that I think, you know, a lot of people still underrate his playmaking ability. He's probably one of the best, if not the best playmakers in the NBA, and maybe that we've ever seen. Next up is another New York favorite in Julius Randle. Last season, Julius Randle actually finished 7th in MVP voting, and at one point he was in the top 5 for the New York Knicks. And albeit I am a Knicks fan, but with the signings that the New York Knicks made, it will make it much easier for Julius Randle to do what he does best, and also take a lot of the load off of him. With some of the signings in Evan Fournier and the sign-in trade for Kemba Walker, those are 2 very good signings that'll take a little bit of the scoring load off of Julius Randle in key moments in Evan Fournier, and a little bit of a jumpstart playmaker in Kemba Walker, and also having Derrick Rose, having him come back to the team. And you know, obviously with the continued development of RJ Barrett, I think that he has a very solid squad around him. I don't think they're championship contenders just yet, but they're championship contenders in the making, pending the development of the young talent in Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, and all these other young players on the Knicks. But his play drastically improved, and it was a reason why he won the Most Improved Player award last season in the NBA. And when I tell you that I really believe he can really put himself in position to be top 5 in MVP voting, is that the Knicks definitely got better this offseason. So he's going to have more weapons to work with. And if he can continue to improve upon his game the way that he did last year, and now he has a significantly improved jump shot. He shot 40% from the field last year. So that shows you that he can legitimately shoot, and I don't expect it to drop significantly from last season, if at all. And I do expect him to be more heavily utilized in an actual scoring role rather, now that there is a bit more playmaking on the team and there's more talent that can score in the second unit. So I believe that in that first unit he was going to be even more heavily utilized than he was last season. Third, I believe Luka Doncic, man. Luka Doncic is really gonna catapult himself into MVP status if he's able to pull the Mavericks up into 4th, 3rd seed, somewhere around there in the West. Because Although getting a 4th seed and below usually doesn't qualify you for MVP candidacy, in the West and how the West is set up, I believe that there is a little bit of leeway this year and in the past years in the Western Conference, especially with the likes of Damian Lillard, of whom the Blazers didn't really make it in a very high seed, still finished almost with the same amount of votes as Luka Doncic and last season. So I really think there's more leeway for these types of players if they can bring their team up a little bit more. Granted, the Mavericks did not get better this offseason, not significantly better. They didn't make any real substantial moves to improve what they have around Luka Doncic. But if he's able to bump them up a couple spots, get them to that 4th, 5th seed, of which they came close to doing last season, Luka Doncic has elevated his play and get some type of help from his supporting cast, he'll definitely finish in top 5 voting without a doubt. Now, my next candidate, the one and only LeBron James. Come on now. LeBron James is in contention for the MVP every single season, and I don't think that's going to really change now that Russell Westbrook has arrived in the Los Angeles Lakers organization. I don't think that taking on less of a playmaking role to conserve his body, I still believe he's going to be putting up the same numbers that he's gonna put up last year, if not maybe a little bit of a cutback. But if you look at his numbers last season, my man's averaged 25 points a game, almost 8 assists and almost 8 rebounds on 51% shooting and 37% from 3. I don't know about you, but those sound like MVP caliber numbers to me. The only reason he didn't really get consideration, and the reason why I agree he didn't get consideration, is because he only played 45 games in the 72 game season. Now, if you want to be the best player in the NBA, you got to be able to play games. He obviously missed more than 20 games, as did Joel Embiid, and why they didn't get consideration. But barring injury, I'm telling you, he's going to be back. He's definitely going to be back. And last but not least in the slightest, and who I actually believe is my favorite, I will say this is my favorite to come up with the MVP award. None other than Stephen Curry. I really think everybody is significantly underrating Stephen Curry, because last season, the only reason he didn't get consideration is because the Golden State Warriors finished in the 8th seed. And that's really the only reason, because Steph Curry lit everyone up last season. It didn't matter what you did, you were not stopping Stephen Curry. My man's dropped 32 points a game on 48% shooting and 42% from 3, on 6 assists and 5.5 rebounds. Like, I'm on 90. He was almost practically 50-40-90 club last season, with an effective field goal percentage of 60.5, 61. I'm gonna just leave that there. Like, those are ridiculous numbers. Like, those are ridiculous numbers. You almost can't even compare that to anyone else in the NBA. And he did this on a team that moved a lot, made a lot of moves, and never really had a true identity because of the injuries that they had. And when I tell you, having Klay Thompson back, no, it doesn't matter that, he came off an ACL, he came off an Achilles. Klay Thompson is still one of the greatest shooters that we've ever seen. Maybe the 2nd or 3rd greatest shooter that the NBA has ever seen. Having him back and his shooting ability and his presence on the court by itself is going to help Stephen Curry tremendously. And when I tell you, it doesn't matter even if he comes back half as good, it doesn't matter. It's going to help Stephen Curry out tremendously. And if you think he put up great numbers this season, wait till he has Klay Thompson, a healthy Klay Thompson on the floor, even at 50-70% of what he was. I'm telling you, it's scary, and he's gonna come back and take the league by storm. And that is my sleeper pick, I guess, for MVP, because I feel like even though he finished, I believe, 3rd in MVP voting, a lot of people didn't really think he deserved it. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at the NBA Twitter too much, because NBA Twitter is just a joke in my opinion. But it's just hilarious. I don't understand it. But I really think that that's what it's gonna be. I'm not really considering Giannis or Chris Paul for the reason that Giannis, there's a lot of voter fatigue with him. Even though he just won the championship and the finals MVP, there's still a lot of voter fatigue from winning back-to-back MVP, so I just don't see that happening. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And same thing with Chris Paul, except he had not a lackluster performance in this NBA Finals, but one that you desired more from your superstar player. You just expected a bit more from him, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is, man. I don't really think Kawhi or Ben Simmons, Westbrook, I don't think any of them are really gonna break out for MVP seasons either. So those are really my top picks for MVP. And I think Jokic can make a name for himself, but with Jamal Murray coming back, he'll have a lot of that load taken off of him. So I think he definitely can be in contention to be the two-time reigning MVP, but I just think these other players have a better chance than him. So Jokic would be my honorable mention. And that's really all I got for y'all today. Really, that just got on the mic talking just to give y'all a video. I've been dying to get back on here, man. It's been a minute. So until my next video, I'm out.